3 weeks ago, I got a call from my mom that started like this. Hey, Darnell, your father and I need to talk to you. It's about the company. And just like that, I knew something was coming. Not just some bullshit. Because anytime they say we need to talk, it's never about me. It's about whatever disaster my little brother Jaden's created this time. Let me back up. I'm 21 studying cybersecurity at Stanford. My parents, they're the kind of Silicon Valley couple who think they're Mark and Priscilla Zuckerberg. Back in their heyday, they ran a semi-successful wellness app startup, overpriced supplements, AI meal tracking, that kind of crap. Never went public, but they had enough funding rounds to fake it till now. Their dream that one of their kids would carry the legacy. Guess which one they actually invested in? Jaden, my 19-year-old TikTok famous crypto bro. Life coach, little brother. The kid hasn't held a real job longer than 3 weeks, but somehow convinced our parents he's building the future of wellness tech through gamified transformation. Whatever the hell that means. Meanwhile, I've been grinding through school on a partial scholarship, picking up freelance bug bounties just to stay afloat. My parents helped a little, covered part of my rent and paid the phone bill. But mostly, they were just proud of Jaden. Always Jaden. He passed high school algebra, big dinner party. I made Dean's List at Stanford, barely a text. So when I drove back to their house last weekend, I wasn't expecting a warm reunion. I was just there to grab some winter clothes. Instead, they sat me down like I was about to get a diagnosis. Darnell, my dad started, steepling his fingers like he was on Shark Tank. We need you to make a big decision. Jaden's in a transition period, and the company needs structure. We want you to take over operations for now. I blinked. Operations of what? The failing app no one uses anymore. Don't be disrespectful, Mom cut in. All business. We just need you to pause your studies. Temporarily. Help stabilize things. Pause. My studies. I looked at them like they'd grown extra heads. You want me to drop out of Stanford to fix your mess? Temporarily, Dad repeated. You can go back later, but this is about family. WTF. Let me make something very clear. They weren't asking me. This was a move in or move on kind of talk. I asked the obvious, why not Jaden? This is his project. He's the one who promised investors a VR fitness mirror that doesn't even turn on. Dad's face tightened. Jaden is in development mode. He's working through things. Yeah, like working through Call of Duty and unpaid bills. I snapped. They didn't laugh. They didn't even flinch. Instead, Mom gave me this line that still pisses me off. You've always been the reliable one. The strong one. That's why we're asking you. No, that's why they expected me to clean up after Jaden. Again. I wish I could say I stood up, flipped the table, told them to go to hell. But I just sat there for a second, stunned. Because it wasn't just the ask, it was the look in their eyes. They'd already decided. They thought I'd say yes. Because I always say yes. But not this time. Let me be real, I said, calm but shaking. If I drop out now, I lose my scholarship, my track to NSA, my actual career. Dad leaned forward, serious now. We can't fund both paths anymore. If you choose school, we can't help you with anything else. Ah, there it was. Drop out and save the family brand, or go back to school and get financially cut off. No rent, no phone, no support, nothing. Classic manipulation wrapped in the illusion of choice. And Jaden, that little jackass, didn't even pretend to care. He walked in mid-convo, earbuds in, grabbed a LaCroix from the fridge and winked at me. Hey, big bro, heard you might be the hero after all. Screw that. That night, I packed a duffel bag and drove to my friend Cam's place in Oakland. Cam's been my ride or die since sophomore year. When I showed up looking like a zombie, he just said, "You want the futon or the floor?" Didn't even ask questions. Just held space. I slept like crap. Brain racing. Heart pounding. Fear. Rage. Grief. You spend years proving yourself, showing up, staying clean, staying quiet, and one ask, one no. And suddenly you're the selfish one. Nah, I wasn't playing martyr anymore. I was done being the responsible one. I wasn't going to torch my future to bail out my family's fantasy. And deep down, I knew this wasn't just about the company. Something way bigger was going on, and I was going to find out what it was. The next morning, my phone was dead. Like dead. Not out of battery cutoff. I had a prepaid plan tied to my mom's family account. Guess she made good on her promise real quick. Cool. No signal, no backup plan, no we didn't mean it message, just silence. By noon, my email was blowing up with bounce backs, rent invoice failed, Spotify canceled, cloud storage login denied. Turns out, they went nuclear overnight. Every service, every bill they had access to gone. Cam saw me staring blankly at my laptop and just said, "Damn, they really did that." "Yep," I said, laughing bitterly. They went full scorched earth because I wouldn't play CEO for a wellness pyramid scheme. That's when it really hit me. This wasn't just about money. It was about control. They were punishing me for choosing me. That afternoon, I hustled to the AT&T store and dropped $50 on a burner plan just to get a new number. While I was there, I checked my bank accounts. Thankfully, my tuition savings were in a credit union under my name only, but my rent account, that one was joint. Gone, emptied out. You know what's worse than betrayal? Calculated betrayal. They didn't just cut me off, they cleaned me out. Cam took me to In-N-Out after and didn't say much until I finished stress eating my fries. Then he asked the thing I was trying to avoid. "So what now?" The plan, keep it together. Somehow, I emailed financial aid, booked an appointment, and walked in the next morning already bracing to beg. But the woman I met with, Angela, shout out to her, she didn't make me feel small. I told her the whole thing, even the part about the family startup and TikTok crypto fraud. She didn't flinch. She just nodded and said, "You're not the first." Parents weaponizing money is more common than you think. I almost cried right there. She helped me file for emergency aid, got me a temporary food card, and connected me with off-campus work referrals. Did I feel humiliated? A little, but also free. No more emotional rent due. Meanwhile, my parents were busy spinning their version of events to anyone who'd listen. I got a Facebook DM from Aunt Lorna. "Heard you abandoned your poor family. I'm shocked. Darnell." Blocked. Instagram message from cousin Marcus. "Hey bro, what's really going on? Your dad said you ghosted during a crisis." At least he asked. I told him the truth. That I wasn't ghosting, I was bailing water from a sinking ship. They never even let me board. That weekend, I got curious paranoid, really. Something about their desperation felt off. They weren't just stressed, they were hiding something. So I did what any cybersecurity major would do. I started digging. And holy hell, what I found. Using some leftover admin credentials from an old dev server, don't ask how I remembered the back door. I pulled up internal documents from the app's financial backend. They'd renamed the original LLC to Wellcore Future Inc. a few months back. Suspicious enough. But buried inside the expense reports, a trail of transfers from the business account to a shell company. Guess who the sole proprietor of that shell company was? Jaden. I cross-checked some invoices. Coaching consulting fees. Branding services. Tech development. All of them bogus. All paid out to Jaden's little passion project, an unreleased, half-baked crypto gym platform that promised NFT-based workouts and motivational quotes from Elon Musk. Are you kidding me? That's where the money went. Not toward rebuilding the company, not toward hiring real staff, not toward anything remotely useful. They mortgaged our house and funneled the funds into Jaden's digital trash fire, and now they wanted me to clean it up. I was shaking. I hadn't even told Cam yet. I just sat there staring at the numbers. They weren't broke. They were betting the house on Jaden and gaslighting me to play safety net. That night, I texted my mom. "So, the company needs help because you funneled $110K into Jaden's NFT scam. You could have just said that." She didn't respond. 3 hours later, my dad called. From an unknown number. "You had no right to access those documents," he said. "Funny," I replied. "You had no right to drain my rent account. Let's call it even." He launched into a lecture. About loyalty. About sacrifice. About how they believed in Jaden's vision and were just trying to give him a chance. I let him finish, then said, "And what about my vision? Or is Stanford just a backup plan in case the chosen one fails again? Silence. Then you always were ungrateful. There it was. Not even mad. Just disappointed I didn't roll over. I ended the call with one sentence. If this was your way of keeping the family together, congrats. You just broke it. Since then, I've gone full lockdown. New number, new email. Every account. Scrubbed clean of their access. I even bought a fireproof safe for my documents. Cam and I built a spreadsheet to budget everything. We meal prep now. I applied for 3 part-time jobs. Got 2 callbacks already. One's in the IT department. Fitting. I'm exhausted, but I'm breathing easier. The weird part, I don't miss them. Not the guilt, not the favoritism, not the constant comparison. For the first time, it's just me. Not me versus Jaden. Not me. The fallback plan. Just me. And I'm not done. A few days after the fallout, Chloe, one of my old high school friends who still lives near my parents, hit me up out of nowhere. Hey, your mom looked like she was about to cry when I stopped by the house. Is everything okay? I didn't even know Chloe still talked to them. But turns out she drops by now and then to buy candles from my mom's spiritual wellness side hustle. Yes, she also sells scented manifestation candles. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. I just said, long story, and left it at that. But Chloe wasn't done. Later that night, she sent me a picture. It was a shot of the front door of the house, taped with a neon orange notice. I zoomed in. Final notice. Notice of default. Pre-foreclosure. My chest tightened. Not because I felt bad for them, but because that was fast. Like, real fast. Turns out, they weren't bluffing about mortgaging the house. And now it was catching up to them. But the real kicker, that was the same day they called me, asking me to come home and help save the family. So they waited until they were one step from losing everything. And then tried to dump it on me. Unbelievable. I called Marcus. My cousin, the one who at least tried to hear me out when all this started. Yo, have you heard anything about the foreclosure? He sighed hard. Yeah. Uncle Melvin's been telling everyone you bailed when they needed you most. But my mom said your dad took out some sketchy loan last year without telling anyone. Of course he did. I asked if anyone else in the family knew what was actually happening. Marcus hesitated. I mean, they're still trying to protect Jaden. Man, even now. I laughed. Couldn't help it. It was just so on brand. The next few days were chaos, mostly online. Facebook drama exploded. My aunt posted something vague like, sometimes the strongest families face the worst betrayal. Prayers appreciated. And people in the comments were eating it up. Stay strong. Family first. This generation doesn't understand loyalty anymore. I wanted to reply so bad. Wanted to post screenshots, loan receipts, the shell company under Jaden's name, everything. But I didn't. Not yet. Because while they were busy playing the victim, I was planning my move. The idea hit me after a call with Cam. We were on the balcony, passing a cheap bottle of wine back and forth like it was holy water. I don't want to stoop to their level, I said. Cam shrugged. Then don't. Aim higher. That stuck with me. I wasn't going to rage post or start a petty comment war. I was going to document everything and let the truth drag itself into the light. So I started building a folder, a full dossier, screenshots, loan docs, bank transfers, emails from Jaden bragging about leveraging investor trust, all of it. Cam helped me organize it like a case study. We even gave it a name, the Legacy Files. It was funny in a dark way. They kept using that word legacy, as if it was something noble instead of a house of cards built on favoritism and fraud. A week later, Chloe called again. This might sound weird, she said, but do you want the stuff your mom gave me by accident? What stuff? She thought it was a bag of candles, but it had all these folders and invoices. Some were in Jaden's name. Say less. I picked them up that night, and inside, gold. Like literal confirmation that they were using the app company as a front to fund Jaden's fake crypto gym. They had fake invoices from non-existent vendors. They were inflating app downloads using bot farms. One receipt literally said influence package. 5,000 bot reviews. I wasn't even angry anymore. Just impressed by the sheer audacity. Cam and I added everything to the legacy files. Then we sat back and asked the real question, what now? Here's what we decided. We weren't going to expose them ourselves. No viral tweet, no messy callouts. Instead, we submitted everything anonymously to the SEC tip line and a tech ethics watchdog group that tracks fraudulent startups in Silicon Valley. It wasn't revenge, it was accountability. Let the system they worship come for them. And guess what? 2 weeks later, Cam texts me during class. Bro, check this link. Now. It was an article from a local tech news blog. Well-core startup under investigation for alleged financial misrepresentation. The article was short, vague, but accurate. Anonymous sources have provided evidence of internal fraud and misuse of investor funds, possibly involving shell entities and social media campaigns. I stared at it in shock. Cam called me, "Dude, you okay?" I didn't answer right away, just stared at the headline. Then I laughed, like really laughed. The kind that starts in your chest and won't stop. I felt light. The fallout didn't hit right away, but the whispers started. Someone forwarded me a screenshot of a Reddit thread on our startups. People were speculating. I heard it was all a cash grab for some influencer cousin. Wasn't their app mostly just calorie tracking and affirmations? Jaden tried to post a clarification video on TikTok, but it flopped. Comments were brutal. Bro really said disruption while committing wire fraud. Imagine tanking your family for crypto abs. This aged like oat milk. I didn't comment. Didn't even watch the whole thing. Didn't need to. I haven't heard from my parents since. No apology, no explanation, nothing. And I'm okay with that. I still have their last text saved. Just so I remember, you're choosing outsiders over your own blood. Nah, I chose myself. Finally. And for once, I'm not cleaning up someone else's mess. I'm building something of my own. The week after the article dropped, I kept waiting for the other shoe to fall. Like maybe my dad would storm into campus and demand I undo whatever he assumed I did. Or my mom would send one of her 2 a.m. guilt paragraphs about family unity and prayers for healing. But nothing came. The silence, it was eerie. But it was also peaceful. I was halfway through a stats lecture when I realized I hadn't thought about them all day. Not once. That kind of freedom hits different when you grew up walking on eggshells. I got a call that evening from someone I didn't expect. It was Ms. Ramirez, my high school counselor. "Darnell," she said, voice warm but careful. "I read something online, and I just wanted to check on you." At first, I was confused. Then I remembered her son works in local tech. She must have seen the news. I told her I was all right. Better than all right, actually. But before I could end the call, she said, "I knew you'd rise above. Even back then, you had a fire in you. They just couldn't see it because it didn't come with a YouTube channel." I laughed, but damn if that didn't stick. Around the same time, Marcus reached out again. My cousin, who wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. "Yo," he texted, "you free to grab coffee?" We met at a hole-in-the-wall cafe downtown. No drama, no cameras. Just two guys with the same last name trying to figure out if that still meant something. He didn't say much at first, just slid me a brown envelope across the table. "What's this?" "Loan docs. Found them at my mom's place. Your dad signed off on the second mortgage without even telling your uncle. He listed the company's valuation at 10 times what it was worth." Jesus, how deep are they in? Marcus shrugged. Deep enough that foreclosure's the least of their worries. He sipped his drink, then said something I didn't expect. "You were right to walk. We all saw it. We just didn't say anything." I didn't know whether to feel vindicated or sad. Maybe both. One night, Cam and I were sitting on the couch watching reruns of Atlanta. I was half asleep, half scrolling through LinkedIn, when he nudged me. "You ever think about starting your own thing?" I blinked. "What? Like a company?" He nodded. "You've already got the skills. And now you've got a hell of a story." At first, I brushed it off. Too tired, too broke, too everything. But the idea stuck. So, over the next few weeks, between classes and shifts at the IT desk, I started mapping something out. A nonprofit. Microgrants for low-income tech students. Workshops for navigating family pressure. Financial cutoffs. and building your own damn future when no one hands you a ladder. The working title, No Golden Child, because not everyone gets to be the favorite. But that doesn't mean we don't build gold out of scrap. While all that was cooking, I also had to deal with one last thing, my stuff. Most of it was still at the house. Not that I needed much, but there were things I didn't want to leave behind: childhood photos, a few journals, my old laptop with all my early code on it. I thought about asking Cam to come with me, but in the end, I went alone. Just wanted it over with. When I pulled up, the yard looked rough. Weeds, mail piled up, paint chipping. I knocked once. No answer. But the door was unlocked. I stepped inside and instantly smelled that weird eucalyptus meets burning incense combo my mom always swore cleansed the air. The place was quiet. Not peaceful, quiet, hollow quiet. Like no one had spoken out loud in weeks. I didn't linger, just headed straight to my old room. It was untouched, bed still made, posters still on the wall, my books stacked exactly like I left them. As I packed my stuff into 2 duffels, I found a sticky note on my desk. It was my mom's handwriting. I know you hate us, but we love you anyway. That hurt more than I thought it would, because they still didn't get it. This wasn't about hate. It was about harm. Love without accountability isn't love. It's manipulation. As I was heading down the stairs, Jaden appeared, shirtless, of course, holding a protein shake. He looked rough, like hasn't slept in days and TikTok banned me again rough. You really did it, huh? He said, smiling like it was a game. I didn't do anything, I replied. The truth just got louder than your pitch deck. He didn't get mad. He just sipped his shake and said, they'll forgive you, you know. No, I said, pausing at the door. They'll forgive themselves. That's what they've always done. And then I left. Didn't look back. Didn't take the note. Didn't need it. The weeks that followed felt strange in a good way. Quiet. Free. Mine. The nonprofit picked up traction. Cam's cousin helped build a landing page. A few friends from school offered to beta test the mentorship tools. We launched a small scholarship, $500, to one first-gen college student in STEM. It wasn't a lot, but it was ours. And every time I got an email from someone saying, thank you for sharing your story, I remembered what Ms. Ramirez said. They couldn't see your fire because it didn't come with a YouTube channel. But the world, the right people, they saw it just fine. About a month after I walked out of that house for the last time, I got a message from a burner number. No name, just, your mom's in the hospital. No context, no follow-up. I stared at the screen for a solid 5 minutes. Then I put the phone down and went back to washing dishes. It's not that I didn't care. It's that I'd learned finally that caring doesn't mean you show up every time they snap their fingers, especially not when they never showed up for you. Still, the guilt crept in like smoke. Quiet, suffocating. So I did what I always do. When the weight hits weird, I walked. No headphones, no destination. Just me in the cold air. By the time I got back, Cam was waiting on the steps with takeout and 2 ciders. You okay? He asked, already knowing the answer. Yeah, no, I don't know. We sat in silence for a while, watching headlights blur past the street. Then I said it. I spent so long trying to prove I was the good son. The stable one. The reliable one. And now I don't even know who I am outside of that. Cam took a sip, nodded slowly. Maybe that's the point. Now you get to decide. The next day, I called the hospital not to visit, just to confirm. She was fine, dehydrated, stress-related stuff, discharged already. Cool. Glad she's okay. Still not my emergency. And if that makes me cold, so be it. Because I'm not the family's default emotional paramedic anymore. Meanwhile, things weren't going great on their end. A friend of mine from school whose older sister works at a VC firm told me Wellcore got blacklisted from 3 major funding circles. Word got around fast. Something about a whistleblower tip. Investor fraud. Inflated numbers. Weird, huh? Jaden went dark online. Deleted everything. Even his backup YouTube channel where he reviewed supplements and gave entrepreneur mindset tips. Yes, that was a real thing. The silence on his end was louder than any apology. But you know what was even louder? The silence from the rest of the family. Not one call, not one email, not one hey, maybe we owe you an explanation. It wasn't just quiet, it was avoidant. They knew, and instead of fixing it, they folded in on themselves. Classic. I got a message from Marcus around that time. "Want to come to Thanksgiving?" I laughed out loud. "Really? It's at my place. No parents. Just cousins. Food, music, card games." I hesitated. Not because I didn't trust him, but because I wasn't sure I wanted to be around anyone who shared DNA with the people who nearly ruined me. But then he added, "You deserve a seat, even if you don't stay long." So I went. It was awkward at first. Some cousins acted like they didn't know. Others avoided eye contact altogether. But then we started eating, and laughing, and talking tea over spades. And I realized something. I didn't need to belong to a family to belong in a room. Found family is real. And sometimes, it's the ones who stay after the fire who matter, not the ones who struck the match. Toward the end of the night, Marcus handed me a little box. Inside was a flash drive and a folded letter. "What's this?" He shrugged. "Stuff you should have had." I opened the letter later that night. It was from my mom. Typed, printed, unsigned. A weird mix of apology and justification. "We only wanted the best for all of you. We didn't realize we were causing so much pain. We always saw you as strong. That's why we leaned on you. We thought Jaden just needed a push. Maybe we were wrong." There was no direct admission of wrongdoing. No specifics. No, "We're sorry we lied, stole, manipulated." Just vague sadness dressed up as insight. But the last line. That one stuck. "If you ever come back, the door's open." I stared at that sentence for a long time. Then I plugged in the flash drive. It was photos. Old family stuff. Holidays. Birthdays. A video of me teaching Jaden how to ride a bike. I watched for about 10 minutes. Then I pulled the drive out and tossed it in a drawer. Because here's the thing. I don't need a walk down memory lane. I need a damn exit route from generational dysfunction. Back on campus, things were leveling out. The nonprofit No Golden Child was picking up more attention than I expected. We got featured in a student newsletter. A professor asked me to speak at a panel on tech ethics and class disparities. And then, out of nowhere, an alumni donor offered to match our scholarship fund for the next semester. I sat there staring at the email for like 5 minutes, heart pounding. Not because of the money, but because someone believed, not family, not blood, someone who didn't owe me a damn thing saw value in what I built. And that was worth more than any apology. Sometimes I still have dreams where I'm back in the house, cleaning up Jaden's mess. Listening to my dad say things like, "Do it for the family," while my mom cries in the corner. I always wake up sweating. But the longer I'm out, the less those dreams stick. They fade faster, and the silence after, it feels earned.